Let's move into the 4 o'clock games, the late games. Woo, we got a doozy. We got the New York Football Giants, 13-point dogs, visiting the Los Angeles Rams. Numbers moved up, my friend, up a lot. Money and bets all coming in on the Rams. Feels like a pass.
Yeah, and it's one of those where last week, that Giants game, it was, I think, 13-10 or 16-13 or something like that. And then all of a sudden, it just got out of hand where San Fran just ran it all over them. And when the Giants were playing a team that has 40% of their salary or almost half their starters out for a game, and that's the performance they put up, you immediately have to look at the head coach because he's not putting his players in the best position to win. And I think the Rams here in a bounce-back spot, they're going to be the public darling. And this is another huge number game where I can't believe I'm backing on these big favorites. But they can do really well at running the ball. And that's what the Rams are known for, is running the ball. So I'm with you. This one I wouldn't put in because it's too big of a number, and it's really easy for the Giants to get a late score to backdoor this. But I like the Rams here. I like them, their style against the Giants style.
I mean, you right now you're making bets on a combined 25.5-point favorites between the Ravens and the Rams. Just saying.
I know it's crazy, but it's like the same thing I did last week when I took the Colts. It's like I know all the numbers say I should be on the Jets, that this is a trap, and that they're going to cover this name because they're 0-2 ATS, 0-2 against the spread. But it's COVID. It's practice. There's no fans. There's no pressure. So these better teams, they're literally scrimmaging against worse teams. It's just easy when they're such better teams and these no fans. They don't have the normal kind of pressure that they are used to. It's kind of one of those where it's going good, it just snowballs. And these good teams, when they're beating these bad teams can't keep them close. And I think we're going to keep seeing that as the season goes along here. Maybe late in the year, I'll catch up, and Vegas will catch up to these numbers. But for right now, I'm going to back these favorites.
I really like how you're you're identifying and addressing the home field component here. I just think that's fascinating. And that's going to be a conversation point, I think, when we get into next week. You'll have 4 weeks of data. And I think it'd be really valuable for people to truly see, like, okay, instances where you've made the adjustment and it's worked and you've been spot on about it. It's just fascinating to me the way you're phrasing these as sort of practice games. I love it. No comment needed. No comment needed from you, Simon. I'm just complimenting you. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that from your Twitter fans. You're only going to get that from me.
All they give me is love. They're nice people.
They are good people.
Just the one or two jackasses.
Just the one. I love how you retweet all of them. Bills visiting the Raiders, the Ascendant, the Miracle, the Bills from Buffalo. Matt Mitchell, our podcast producer's favorite team of any team in any sport. The Bills are 3-point favorites at the Raiders in Las Vegas.
We'll wait and see what the injury report is with the Raiders because they had a lot of guys get banged up in that New England game. And Waller barely even played for them, which was a big deal at tight end. And this is another one of those games where we're going to buy low in Vegas because the Bills just had an incredible comeback.
Nope.
Really?
Nope. Well, no, you can tell me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love the Raiders here. I think that with everything going with the Bills, they're flying really high. This is a nice little letdown spot for them. So this is one of those they're going to come in feeling really good. And I could just see the Raiders keeping it close and eventually pulling out a win at the very end. So I'm backing the Raiders here.
Oh, my God, I hate betting on the Raiders. Like, you know what's interesting? I hate betting on the Raiders. I have no sense of their identity at all. And it also feels like I am making amateur mistakes by making a blanket statement. I refuse to bet on the Raiders. And then you'll talk me into the Raiders because for the same logic why I want to bet the Dolphins. Like the Seahawks are coming in on a high. They're coming in overvalued. And I'm getting a team that is like not very good at home as a little bit of an underdog. So I was letting my Raiders bias get in the way of sound, professional betting decision-making. So of course we're going to put the Raiders on our list because also Why wouldn't we want to add the Raiders when we also have teams like the Dolphins and the Bears on this list? Because there's nothing better than being incredibly uncomfortable with 5 bad teams that you're betting to win $1 million.
And I know we got 3 dogs right now, so by the end of the week, we'll definitely are going to have 1 or 2 favorites mixed in. It's just what we're doing right now on Tuesday. We're just waiting for more information because these favorites, I do like betting them, but I'm very picky and choosy with these favorites. Like we've gone over it. Week 1, my favorite bet was the Steelers. They were a -6 favorite. They covered. Week 2, I love the Cardinals. They were a big favorite. They covered. And then week 3, I probably I don't know how much we spent on it, but I think I said that it was just an easy bet taking the Patriots there in that spot. So that was an easy cover. So we're 3-0 right now, my favorite. So hopefully I can mix another one because I have a couple that I do like, and we're about to talk one here about the Chiefs, where the value is going to be on New England in this game with the Chiefs because I think most people know that what New England does well is what the Chiefs do bad, which is running the ball. So you're looking at a game where people are thinking, if New England can control this clock, if you're getting a good number at 7, why wouldn't you take Bill Belichick as a 7-point dog? And it's just making me a little nervous when I saw last week with Cam is that if he's not on target with these weapons, that offense can really struggle. They needed a bunch of turnovers from the Raiders to kind of get them back into that game. So if we're looking for a favorite that's really chalky, I do like the Chiefs this week against the Patriots, but I hate going against Bill Belichick.
I hate going against Bill Belichick, but there is the Cam Newton factor. I agree with you 100%. Even on Sunday, like I was a little, even though I knew like that was the right call, I'm nervous betting the guy. I have no confidence when he goes back to throw. None.
Yeah, there's some times where he drops back there and like he does that style where he just quirks his head back and just throws it as hard as he can to a guy. And it's either going to go like 20 feet over the guy, it's going to hit him right in the hand. So I'm with you. We don't have to put this one in. We can leave it on the side, but I would back the Chiefs this week.
What kind of world are we living in where we might want to back the Browns instead of Bill Belichick? That is 2020 in a nutshell, my friend.
Yeah, what is happening?
2020 is the kind of year where it makes more sense to back the Cleveland Browns than Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. All right, let's put a pin in that one. Because the next 2 games, like, unless you can convince me, Eagles visiting the Niners, Eagles 7-point dogs. Are you going to tell me right now, like, now is the time to buy Carson Wentz?
It's impossible to say. It's just like, I mean, as a fan, I'm truly embarrassed. Like the fact that Carson Wentz has 6 interceptions through 3 games, everything is just falling apart. Doug Peterson is coaching like a coward. He was trying to play for a safe field goal at the end of the game. Ended up having to settle for a punt. So great opportunity to buy low in the Eagles. They're 0-2-1, half game out of first place in the NFC East. Thank you. And San Fran, they're so well coached, and they've played 2 really bad teams back to back. So it's hard to gauge what they really are without all these players because they just beat up the Jets and beat up the Giants, which people argue are the 2 worst teams in football. So I'd be good taking the Eagles in a primetime game here, catching 7 in a must-win game for them against a team that's still trying to recover from all these injuries. And I know all these San Fran fans are going to come at me again saying I hate their team. I love San Fran. I love their team. I just think these injuries, they can't just keep winning when all these players are missing.
You've done it again, Simon Hunter. You've nearly convinced me that a team that played for the tie because the coach was too afraid to have his quarterback make a play is the team that you might want to back against the team that represented the NFC in the Super Bowl last year. Betting is the worst.
It's the worst, but it's just like as an Eagles fan, I usually have a pretty good pulse on this team. And over the last few years, these are the kind of games the Eagles go somewhere and they win. Like last year, they were terrible. They went up to Buffalo and they dominated Buffalo. A couple weeks later, they went up to Green Bay and they dominated Green Bay, who at the time was one of the best teams in football. So I'm going to trust the number and say that this should be 4.5. and we're getting a good value here, 6.5, 7. So I do like the Eagles in the spot, prime time.
All right, can we agree we hate the Packers and the Falcons?
We can agree on it because I'm still too low on the – like, I got to update what I'm doing with Green Bay because I keep – every week even though I loved them coming in the year, I was on them for over 9 wins, and I think people are really underestimating the scheme they ran last year was new, and they did really well with it. They went 13-3, and this year things are just clicking with Rodgers. He's just seeing the game so well. But this is do or die for the Falcons, and it's another one of those where I hate going against these really desperate teams versus teams that are feeling good about themselves. They're having big wins. Like Green Bay winning that game in primetime in New Orleans, like, they had to have been the best flight home. They're feeling good this whole week. The Falcons are horrible. That's the only reason we're not going to put them in is because I'm with you. Quinn's got to get fired. I don't want to be back in this team, so we're not putting the Falcons in.
So I got to say, like, that's exactly it. Like, the Falcons are the exact team we should be betting right now, but they are just not a team you can ever back. They have just proven to be unbackable. So we gotta walk away from that. And so what we got to decide on right now, the teams we've listed are the Browns, who are a
4.5.
4.5 point underdog at Dallas. The Bears plus 2.5 at home. That's a no-brainer. We're doing that. Bears plus 2.5 at home against the Colts. Cards minus 3.5 on the road against Detroit. Love that. Dolphins plus 6.5. Dolphins plus 6.5. Freaking love that bet. With Seattle coming across the country. Yes, please, as long as they have their full complement of players. You got to check on the injury report. Again, we will update all this. Check it out in the Action Network app, the free Action Network app. That's where you can follow Simon's picks. That's where you can see what we do. We are laying the groundwork, establishing our menu. Sunday morning, we choose. We put it in the app. We'll tweet it out. Raiders plus 3.
Yeah.
Eagles plus 7. That is like a complement of 6 right now, of which we will choose 5. I like all of them.
I like all of them, and we can just do it real quick. So our Survivor contest.
Yes.
We had a good week. People, for some reason, they didn't take the Colts, and they ended up taking the Cardinals, and a couple people took the Saints, and for some crazy reason, some people took the Ravens. So we're down to 40,000 out of 500,000.
Oh, my God.
I put it on Twitter this morning how I couldn't see how we can't take the Ravens this week. And then I looked in the app. We actually already took the Ravens week 1.
Oh, no.
So the easy pick this week is definitely the Rams, where
yes,
the Giants are going there. The Rams need this win. They're going to bounce back. That should be a no sweat for us. Even if the Giants somehow cover that number, I can't see this being under a touchdown for the Rams. So I love the Rams here in our survivor pool.
All right. In our DraftKings survivor pool, there are 40,000 left out of 500,000 that started. We are going to be on the Rams this week. We continue to thrive and survive. The 6 picks, again, that we are going to be choosing from: Browns plus 4.5, Bears plus 2.5, Cards minus 3.5, Dolphins plus 6.5, Raiders plus 3, Eagles plus 7. I'm throwing up in my mouth as I read these back, thinking about how miserable Sunday is going to be as I track these, and I'm texting you looking for desperate relief, Simon. That's what I'm thinking about.
Can't wait. It's the best part of my Sunday is getting ripped on by you and a couple other people on there. Just like, are we going to do this? And I'm just like, I hope, man. I wish I knew the future, but no, I like this week. A couple people have asked why we haven't used bye weeks yet. In a normal thing, if we were doing a podcast like we talked about, we would have used one of these bye weeks by now, just because it's early in the year and we're building data. We're both guys who use numbers. We're not just stomach bettors, like betting with our guts. So I wouldn't be against using it this week, but I kind of do want to start saving them now, especially with all this stuff going with COVID. It's like maybe in the next couple of weeks, if things actually do kind of get games getting sat here and there, we're not getting as much value because there's less games on the board. We can pick and choose, but for right now, we're not going to use the bye week this week.